Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Krishno Rakshatu no Jagatraya Guruhu. Krishnam Namasyamyaham. Krishnena Amarasatravo Vinihataha. Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishna Deva Samuthitam Jagadidam. Krishnasya Dasosmyaham. Krishne Tisthati Sarvametadakilam. He Krishna Samrakshamam. Jai Srimanarayana. Blessings of Sri Chinna Swamiji. We are continuing chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. We finished sloka 24. We'll start with sloka 25 today. If you can see sloka 25.
Yes, sir.
Please chant. Sanai
Shanairuparamit
Buddhya Dhruti Gruhitaya
Buddhya Dhruti Gruhiyata
Atma Samstham Manah Krutva
Atma Samstam Manah Krutva
Nakinchidapi Chintayet.
Nakinchidapi Chintayet.
Let's chant together.
Shanairuparamit Buddhya Dhruti Gruhitaya Atma Samstam Manah Krutva Nakinchidapi Chintayet.
So, Sloka 24, Lord Krishna started explaining the process to attain that state of yoga, of self-realization. So, in Sloka 24, Lord Krishna said, Sankalpa Prabhavan Sarvan Kaman, all desires that are will-born, Aseshataha Tyaktva, after giving up completely. So, after giving up all desires that are will-born completely, Manasa Eva, with the mind itself, Indriya Gramam Samantataha Viniyamya. So, completely restraining all senses from Indriya Gramam, from all external objects. Okay. So, there are, basically, Lord Krishna here is explaining about two types of desires, right? One is desires that are born in our mind. I want this. I need this. I want to experience. I want to have these many possessions, right? So that is will born. Then we also have desires that are related to our senses. I want to eat something. I want to feel something. I want to hear something. I want to say something, sing something, or smell something. So these are the desires that we have with all our indriyas. Giving up the desires that are related to the sensory experiences and also related to the mind. Giving up those desires completely. Okay. Continuing. Sloka 25. Lord Krishna is saying, Sanaihi uparamet. Slowly withdraw. What do we withdraw? Withdraw the mind. Because last sloka is saying that manasa eva, with the mind. So with mind, slowly withdraw from all external matters, anything that is not related to Atma. Okay? Dhruti gruhitaya buddhya, with resolute intellect. Buddhya is intellect, with intellect. That is resolute. That is firm, with firm resolution. I want to. give up. That's what is needed. Like with that resolution is needed. Otherwise, mind keeps wandering, right? Manaha atma samstham krutva. Having placed mind firmly established in atma. Atma samstham. Having established in atma. Manaha krutva. So having placed mind firmly in atma. Kinchit api na chintayet. Do not think of anything else other than atma. Right? So giving up all the desires related to the mind and senses, sensory experiences. So slowly withdraw the mind from all external matters with resolute intellect, right? Because I want to do this. That resolution is needed. And, having placed the mind firmly established in Atma, do not think of anything else other than Atma. Right? So we have the hierarchy of control, right? Which one has control over what? Can anyone say? Which is more powerful than what? Like in
Mind
terms of
both,
senses.
mind is always more powerful than intellect, right?
Mhm.
Mind will, I think, so mind will try to take control of the intellect all the time, right? The intellect want to go in a right direct, probably always kind of fights with mind, right? So yeah, so the senses, I'm not sure the senses of hierarchy between senses, intellect, and mind.
So hierarchy, senses, mind, intellect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think within senses also, the ears and eyes, right? That's why we say Vadram Karnebihi Shruniyama Deva, Vadram Pashyam Akshavirya. So these two are very dangerous compared to taste, touch, and smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So eyes can see far, and hearing also, there's no limit.
Yeah.
But taste, yeah, it's limited to like something you have to place on the tongue. Yeah, but basically the senses take us in all different directions. Okay, senses are swimming in this universe, in this nature, right? So senses are like the horses that are pulling the chariot, okay, in different directions.
In
So
the
if we
mind.
don't control the senses, we are going in all different directions, no matter, whatever it is, the senses really, senses are born, designed to experience, right? It's not like senses are designed by themselves to be controlled. Senses are like, they're not that intelligent by themselves to control themselves in a way. They're designed to do a purpose of experiencing. So if we don't control them, they can drive us in whatever direction they want. So that's the first thing. Then senses are controlled by the mind. Mind is more powerful than the senses. So with mind, you can control the senses. You can. But if senses become powerful, they'll take the mind away with them. So you have to keep your mind strong. This meditation is actually making the mind strong. You're basically telling the mind that, hey, control the senses, control your desires that are born in the mind itself. So you have the mind you have to make the mind strong to be to control the senses. So what is more powerful than the mind? Intellect is more powerful than the mind. So intellect is our buddhi, right? Is our discriminating ability. So that tells, hey, mind, don't do this or do this, right? So if mind becomes powerful, it takes over the intellect, and that means you will lose the vichakshana, right? I mean, people whose senses are powerful, they become powerful. They drive the mind saying that I want it, so the senses will run away, and the mind will take over the intellect. So intellect becomes like not powerful. Even though it is supposed to be powerful, it becomes useless. Like, so, hey, you should not be doing it. Intellect knows, but it is not that powerful for that person more than the mind, right? So mind takes the intellect away, and then lets the senses do whatever they want to do, and then basically we commit all kinds of sins. So what is more powerful than intellect?
Atma.
Actually, in the previous
It
chapters,
is desire, right?
desire.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, in third chapter,
Yeah.
Indriyani Paranyahu, that's it.
So the desire is the most powerful thing. Desire, if we have desires, then intellect takes backseat, mind takes backseat. And then the desires are usually related to the sensory experiences or the mind. Like, I want this possession. I want something, I want to be praised, whatever it is, right? The desire. So the desire becomes so powerful that now you can say that it does not let the intellect drive the mind, right? So basically, desire takes over the intellect. Okay, intellect either changes, right? Intellect drives the mind to go in a wrong direction, and we're talking about negative things here. So intellect, let us say we have a desire, so desire takes over the intellect. The intellect will tell the mind, say, hey, you have to do this, this is the right thing for you to do. Then the mind will control the senses and say, hey, senses, you experience this. So the senses will run an experience. So we need to control the desire in order for us to let the intellect control the mind, control the senses. Okay, so first thing what we need to do, Lord Krishna is saying, is withdraw your mind from the desires, anything other than Atma. See, if you mind has to focus on something, right? If you can't keep it blank, right? So mind focuses on either desires, or it has to focus on something else. What we need to do is we should not let the mind go in the direction of desires. Eliminate, slowly withdraw the mind from the desires, all the external matters, right? And establish it in Atma. So you're taking the mind away from the desires and placing it in the Atman with a resolute intellect. So now the intellect is working, right? Intellect is telling the mind, hey, you need to move yourself. Don't think of all the desires that are born in your mind, and also the sensory experiences that you have in your mind. Don't think of them. Think of Atman. Think of yourself, right? So And then, yeah, that's all. I mean, this sloka 24 and 25 is primarily that. So we just have to move our mind away from all the external thoughts, desires, and then place it firmly established in our Atma, in ourself. Okay. Okay, sloka 26. Lord Krishna is continuing, so let's continue sloka 26. Yato yato nischarati
Yato yato nishcharati
manaschanchalamassthiram
Manaschanchalamastiram
tatastato niyamyaitat
tatastato
to
niyamyaitat
niyamyaitat
atmanyeva vasamnayet.
atmanyeva
atmanyeva
vasamnayet.
Let's chant together.
Yato
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 nischarati
nischarati
manaschanchalamastiram
manaschanchalamastiram
tatasto
tatasto
niyamyaitat
niyamyotat
atmanyeva
atmanyeva
vasamnayet.
vasamnayet.
So Lord Krishna is continuing. Yato yato nischarati manaschancchalam asthiram. Yataha yataha chanchalam asthiram manaha nischarati. Yataha yataha, wherever. Chanchalam is fickle. Asthiram manaha nischarati. Unsteady mind wanders. Wherever, there are two things Lord Krishna said about the mind. Chanchalam, asthiram. Okay. So chanchalam, asthiram is fickle-minded, right? And unsteady. You know, we think of doing something, but immediately we are not able to. So it's not steady. You know, we want to study for 1 hour, but in 2 minutes, mind gets bored or doesn't want to do it, whatever may be the reason. Are fickle, you know, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? We don't know which one to do. It's fickle-minded, you know, we don't know what is important, what is not important. So wherever that fickle mind wanders, fickle and unsteady mind wanders, it's going, nischarati is going, wherever it goes. Tataha, from there and there, etat niyamya, restrain. Etat is this mind. Niyamya is restrain. Restrain this mind. Vasamnayet, let it be placed under control. Okay. Atmani eva, in Atma alone. So wherever this mind is wandering, okay, from there, restrain your mind and let it be placed under control in Atma alone. Right? So how can we bring it back to control? How do we restrain the mind? First of all, it is very important to understand that the mind wanders. Okay, so lot of times we we hear that I'm not able to control my mind, right? I sit in meditation, but the mind goes in all over, in all directions. I start thinking of everything that is happening in my life, everything happening around, right? So it is fickle and unsteady. It wanders all over the place. So that is natural. That is uncontrolled mind. So Lord Krishna is saying that very clearly. From there, wherever it goes, from there it bring it back to the control, of and focus it on Atma. Okay. Why? Because the previous sloka, Lord Krishna said, with resolute mind, right? So, bring it back to focus on Atma alone, because Atma is the one that is that gives us eternal happiness. Okay, self-realization is the one that gives us eternal happiness. So first is important to know that our happiness does not lie in all those places. Why are we thinking about those things? Possible that we may be having them as our goals of happiness. If I think of, say, eating a nice dish, for example, or seeing something, hearing something, doing something which will give me, money or praise or whatever. So those are the things that we are thinking, oh, they may be giving us happiness. They're not the ones that give us real happiness. Real happiness is within ourselves. Okay. So that is the first thing that we need to know. If we know that, then we are able to bring it back. Otherwise, there's no way to bring it back. See, if I want to go to some place to enjoy something, if I should not go to that place, I need to go to some other place. I need to get more enjoyment than where I'm going, right? Otherwise, how do we convince ourselves? Well, let's say somebody wants to eat, say something that they like, that they know is, giving them enjoyment. So if you tell them don't do it, they will not do it. They will not stop. They'll still eat it, right? Because that's what they that gave enjoyment. The only way you can make that person do something else or eat something else is to tell that person that the other thing that is the one that gives more enjoyment than what you're thinking, than what you will get by eating the first dish, right? So when if I am getting some level of enjoyment doing certain thing, if I move away, in order to move away from it, we need to know that alternative thing is the next one is the more enjoyable. Then we will move. So that's a knowledge that we need to have. Then with that knowledge, we instruct, that intellect will now instruct the mind to move away from those other matters towards Atma, where the eternal happiness lies. Okay.
I think at least the challenge, at least I face, is yes, because the other happiness I haven't seen this or experienced it. To Balaji's point, right? If we experience a little bit, then I'll know that okay, this is how it to look like. Then I can bring that back from the other place, right? So
yes, exactly. So it is very difficult to even present it, right? So only when when they start experiencing, then they will start realizing. So that's why a lot of people may not even start.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So, and from Panchakosha's point of view, the Anandamaya Kosha is one that is blocking us.
Anandamaya Kosha.
Ananda. Even though the name says Anandamaya Kosha, what it does is, it actually, the way they explained in yoga books, and so first it experiences modam. Suppose we say, I want mango. So it creates a interest, I want the mango. And once it comes into your possession, you feel satisfied. Okay, now I have it. And once you eat it, you enjoy, you get happiness. And the mind actually, kind of this Anandamaya Kosha, the fifth sheath, it makes us think that that is the highest happiness. It masks us from experiencing Atma. So as per yogic philosophy, you have to pierce through each of the 5 sheaths. Because most of the time, our focus is on Manomaya Kosha throughout the day. Or Vijnanamaya Kosha, these two. When you are intellectually thinking, you are in Vijnanamaya Kosha. When we are just mentally focusing, your mind goes off, you are in Manomaya Kosha. And if you have some pain, bodily pain, you tend to focus on the body, Annamaya Kosha. So we have to cross Annamaya Kosha. That's why we practice asana, so that we don't have to worry about body. Otherwise, they call it as knee meditation, right? If your knee is bothering you, that's where it becomes knee meditation. And then, you cross Manomaya Kosha by focusing on Paramatma. That one is relatively easy, because when you focus on Paramatma, eventually you can cross Manomaya, Vijnanamaya Kosha. But this Anandamaya Kosha is very deceiving, because every time you experience happiness in life, it actually doesn't let you cross that. That's just
Right.
to give yogic perspective.
Very good, very good. Yeah, they're all connected, right?
Sure,
It's
yeah,
wonderfully connected. So, the most fundamental thing that anybody needs to know in order to not be controlled by this Anandamaya Kosha or anything else, right? What is that most fundamental thing? What is it?
The most fundamental thing.
What is that most fundamental thing that I need to know in order for me to move away from the desires?
That is the nature of, that is knowing that Atma is the ultimate.
There is something else.
Paramatma, Bhagavan, also we can.
Right. So the most fundamental thing is to know that I am Atma, not body.
Yeah.
Right? As long as we think that I am body,
Yes.
it's very natural to experience whatever is happiness for body. That's what I want to experience. Right? There is absolutely no way of moving away from that happiness related to body if I don't know that I'm different from body.
Yes.
Right? So that's why Bhagavad Gita starts with the concept. So concept of Atma. I am Atma, not body. That's if I don't have that concept, I'm ignorant. First and foremost thing, and always need to keep in mind, is I am Atma, not body. So if I remember this principle, everything else builds on top of it, falls in place. If I don't remember this every second of our life, okay, then no matter what we learn, all these principles, they will all be like a pack of cards, right? If I forget that I'm Atma, not body, then I will run after the desires related to the body, right? So I'll not be focusing on the self. The only way focusing on self is to know that I am self, not body. Right? So that's why that's the most fundamental thing. And attaining that state of self-realization gives us eternal happiness. Why does it give eternal happiness? Tricky question. Why does it give us eternal happiness? The self-realization gives us eternal happiness.
When there is no attachment to anything, right? No expectations.
Yep.
Paramatma, and we don't have the we'll not go through the cycle of births and deaths anymore.
Very true. Ignorance is the root cause of the problem.
Atma itself is the Ananda Swarupa. So if we reach that one, we will be always in the happiness mode.
So yeah, so that happiness that we are talking about is different realm, right? Different plane, right? I mean, it is not equivalent to the happiness that we experience with our senses. I mean, just clarifying the happiness. Like sometimes people say, "Oh, happiness, is it same as eating mango is makes me happy? If I experience Atma, is like eating mango always." No. uh, okay. Anyway, so it basically, that Krishna said that the pleasure that we get, our bodily pleasures, are temporary in nature, and they are one is temporary, and the other one is it diminishes with time. So if I have $1,000,000, right? First day I'll be happy I have $1,000,000. Second day, little bit less happy. After a month, it becomes normal, right? I mean, our first day when we buy an expensive car, we enjoy that car. First day, we are really happy. As time progresses, it becomes any other car, right? There's not that much happiness anymore. So all the happiness that we know of that is related to our body and mind is temporary and diminishing, has diminishing value. But the happiness that we experience when we realize Atma, it does not vanish. So it is not tied to nature anymore. It is tied to our own self. And our own self, we are equivalent to Paramatma. We don't become God. So we are equivalent to Paramatma. So we are able to experience that, that bliss, which is, again, as Balaji mentioned, like 1,000 times more happiness probably. But it's difficult to explain. It's difficult to explain how sweet is sugar, right? Only when you eat sugar, then you know that taste of sweetness. You can't measure it. You can't explain it. You just have to experience it. So same way, the experience of self-realization, it gives tremendous amount of that happiness in a different plane altogether. So that will never go away because Atma is eternal. It is not diminishing like the nature, right? It does not change. It is basically it remains as is, no matter what happens outside. So we will always be happy. We'll always be eternally happy with ourselves. And of course, after we, when the karmic bondage is all over, when Paramatma blesses us, then we will not be attaining another body. We don't have to go through another, this bodily experiences. So the state that we go to is a state of eternal bliss again, right? So that is the ultimate state where we will not be coming back again to take birth. Okay, and we continue to experience the bliss of serving Paramatma without any limitations. Now we are able to serve Paramatma with the limitations. That stage, we will be serving Paramatma without any limitation. That's the only difference. Because we will get a body that has no limitations. So this the happiness is eternal. When we realize that we are Atma, we focus on Atma and take away our mind from all these desires, then it gives us that happiness.
Can we say it is thiram, sir? That is why it is. I mean, your question was why is it ultimate? That's what your question was, right?
Yeah, eternal happiness. So it's unchanging because Atma does not change, right? I mean, you experience Atma and it is not changing, so it will remain. That happiness will remain without reduction, right? There's nothing else more. Say if I experience happiness with one mango, I want to have two mangoes, right? Or anything more sweet than mango, because there's something better than that, right? Or even if it is not better, we'll think, oh, let me find out what is better than this, right? Even if we don't know at that moment. So we're always in that pursuit of that happiness, something more than that, better than this. But in case of Atma, there's nothing better than that, right? So when we reach that stage, we will not be looking for, I want to get something better than this. And we also realize the greatness of Atma. So then we are constantly happy. And that happiness will not go away. No matter what happens in the outside. That's what in the previous lokas, Lord Krishna explained. Once you reach that state, okay, of self-realization, you will not come out. That happiness doesn't mean that you will be sitting like a rock. No, that's what Lord Krishna is going to explain. No matter what you do, you will continue to be in that state.
I mean, I think one thing is what I notice for people, it's very difficult to distinguish between sattvic happiness and rajasic happiness. Right. So, for example, the Gita, we're all coming here. We normally try not to miss this because this Gita Parayanam and the Pravachanam, it's giving us sattvic happiness, the calmness of mind. The people who are not in this path, it's very difficult to either argue or explain them because they'll be comparing this with Rajasic happiness. So they tend to argue, well, I'm also enjoying life. There is nothing wrong with me. I'm partying. I have a lot of money. I'm partying and I have everything in life. I am healthy. So what's the, so it's kind of until the beginning state is, the starting point for this is sattvic happiness. Then we'll try to improve upon it.
Right, yes. Sattva, yeah, the Sattva Guna is what is going to drive us towards this one. If we have Rajasic, it will not let us experience this knowledge.
Of course.
Actually, it is coming in the next slokas.
Ah.
Very good point, Balaji. Okay. So next, share sloka 27. Listen. Prasantamanasam henam
Prashantamanasam yenam
yoginam sukhamuttamam
yoginam sukhamuttamam
upaiti santarajasam
upaiti shantarajasam
brahma bhutamakalmasham.
brahmabhutamam kal
Let's chant together.
Prashantamanasam
Prasantamanasam henam
yenam
yoginam
sukhamuttamam
sukhamuttamam
upaiti
santarajasam
shantarajasam
brahma bhutamakalmasham.
akasham.
Lord Krishna is continuing. Prashanta manasam hi enam yoginam sukhamuttamam. So, uttamam sukham upaiti. Upaiti santarajasam brahmabhutam kalmasham, right? So, upaiti is comes. So, uttamam sukham upaiti. Supreme bliss comes. To who? Enam yoginam hi. To this yogi, indeed. Okay, so the yogi who has, focused his mind on Atma alone, leaving all the desires and distractions around. Okay, wherever the mind is going, pull it back towards Atma alone. To this yogi who is focused on the self, or once he attains that state of yoga, of self-realization, uttamam sukham apaiti, supreme bliss comes. Okay, to this yogi. So the Lord Krishna is giving some, he's identifying this yogi. Who is this yogi? Prasanta manasam, santa rajasam, akalmasam, brahma bhutam. So these are the four, adjectives given to this yogi. Prasanta manasam, whose mind is in peace. Right? Manas, prasanta, you are able to understand it, right? Prasanta manasam, whose mind is in peace. When will the mind be in peace? When mind is firmly established in Atma. It is not established on desires, external aspects, right? If it is thinking of all things going on around in the world, or all the desires that are happening, mind will never be at peace, isn't it? So supreme bliss comes to that yogi who has his mind in peace, whose mind is in peace, which is well placed in Atma. Santa Rajasam is another adjective or the quality of that yogi who gets supreme bliss. Santa Rajasam is whose Rajas is calmed. Okay, who is not driven by the Rajasic qualities. Right? So the Rajas is driving the people from, in the direction of the desires. Okay, so desires, kama and krodha, right? So desires and anger are direct results of rajasic quality. So when rajas is calmed, so like when there is fire, right? You put water on it, then it will that heat will come down, right? So or you cover it, then the heat will not heat will come down. So like that, when the rajas is controlled, when rajas is calmed, okay, akalmasham, free of sin, okay, who is free of sin, and brahma bhutam, whose essential nature is realized. Okay, one who realizes the true nature of the self. Okay, Brahma is not Paramatma here. The Brahma Bhutam is I realize my essential nature of myself, right? So to that yogi, supreme bliss will come. Okay, so it is like a sequence of steps. Prashanta Rajasam is one whose mind is in peace, one whose mind is placed on Atma. Okay. Then next step is Akalmasham. Then the sins will be cleared, or they will become free of sins. Once they become free of sins, Shanta Rajasam, Rajas will be calmed. Okay, they lose their Rajasic nature. I mean, Rajasic quality. They will not be running around with the Rajasic quality. Or they will not be driven by the Rajasic quality. And then finally, they reach that state of realizing their true nature. Okay. So, when I realize my true nature of the self, I receive, supreme bliss comes to me. That's what I mean. Or I will get supreme bliss, right? So how do I realize my true nature of the self? Is first I need to start focusing on Atma. Then my sins will slowly start getting cleared, right? Because I'm not running after the desires, right? So if I'm not running after the desires, I'm not. What am I doing? I'm not acquiring new karmic bondage, and also if I'm not running after the desires, I'm doing my duty. Whatever is my duty is what I do. So doing my duty. Why am I doing the duty, or what is the purpose of doing the duty? Right, is to serve Paramatma. Right, because if it is for myself as body, right, then I acquire karmic bondage. If I'm doing it as service to God, then I'm clearing my karmic bondage. Not only not acquiring new karmic bondage, I'm also clearing my old karmic bondage, whatever karmic bondage is there in my stock. So with that, the sins are getting cleared. When my sins are getting cleared, I will not be driven by the Rajasic qualities. I will not be acquiring Rajasic qualities. Okay, from the nature. I will be acquiring Sattvic qualities from the nature. Okay, Sattva Guna will increase. Pure Sattva will increase. Not the Sattva which again makes me, tied to the body. So then I will, realize the true nature of the self, when I reach that state, I will be attaining the supreme bliss. So that is the highest state of the meditation, is when I focus on Atma, I realize the true nature of the self, then I get the supreme bliss.
But all these slokas, when you go through, it sounds like vice versa, right? Those who attain this, they'll attain this. Like that. I mean, once you have a clear mind, you will attain yogam, and once who is yogi will attain.
Yeah.
A clear
If I
mind.
understood your question, it's a chicken or egg.
Yeah.
Which comes first? Did the chicken come first or the egg come first? So, do you have to become yogi to focus focus mind on the Atma, or you have to focus your mind on Atma? Then you can. So, Lord Krishna very clearly is giving the steps, right? Start doing the meditation. Start slowly. He's saying Senai, Senai, Ruparane. So slowly control, focus your mind on Atma. Wherever it is going, bring it back, because this is where the eternal happiness is. So then, again, for that to happen, we need resolute mind, resolute intellect, right? When we say mind is both manas and buddhi together. So when we are determined, right, then we keep bringing wherever it goes. We keep bringing. Then we start focusing on Atma. Then our desires start coming down, because we start realizing, okay, I am Atma. This is my greatness. And Lord Krishna is going to explain about Atma further. So once we realize the true nature of the self, right? So far we didn't know. We don't know, right? I mean, again, it's like that sugar, right? Only when you eat the sugar, you'll know how sweet it is. So Lord Krishna brought us to that sugar now. So we have to eat the sugar now. Then we will, when we realize the sweetness, then we'll say, okay, there's nothing more sweet than this. Same way, like we have to come to this state of focusing on Atma, not on the desires. Okay. Then we will be able to realize our true nature of ourselves, right? And then we will know that that eternal happiness. We'll experience that eternal. That's what Lord Krishna is saying. Supreme bliss will come to that yogi who is doing this. So we'll get that supreme bliss. So we'll not reach that state overnight. It requires practice, and it is difficult to just do the meditation, 24/7 in the beginning stage, initial stages. So, right? I mean, this is one of the means of attaining self-realization. Atma Samyama Yoga. Karma Yoga is where when you are practicing, you have to do it with an intention, whatever is your intention behind the duties. With that, doing it as without expectations, as nishkama karma. Then we'll start clearing the karmic bondage. We will also be able to sit quietly and then start doing the meditation in that stage. It is difficult for just whoever is having total rajasic quality and they have no idea about Atma. Asking them to come and sit and do the meditation, they'll never be able to do. So first they have to start, get the knowledge. With that support of the knowledge, start performing karma yoga. So slowly start, the karmic bondage is getting cleared. As they also can, now they can do the meditation, sitting quietly in a quiet place, and then focusing mind on Atma only, and not on the desires and all the external matters. Then they will be able to start experiencing that true nature of the self.
Yeah. Now, meditation also, we have to understand there are various types of meditation, right? For example, some people say you just sit and focus on your, heart or thoughts or body, something like that. But I always felt, the meditation without the knowledge of Paramatma and without the knowledge of Atma, yes, it provides you some peace, no doubt about it. It's better than, people kind of, going in other paths. But fundamentally, as Varaprasad Garu said earlier, unless our ignorance is destroyed, like we are not the body and we are not the mind, our problems will keep on repeating. They will never go away. So once we have that knowledge, then problems won't go away, but we will develop tolerance and we don't focus on them that much. So unfortunately, I think a lot of practices, they try to teach meditation without the knowledge of Paramatma.
Yes, yeah. If you are practicing, they may be physically getting benefit out of it, like
Yes.
BP is coming down, and they're no longer aggressive, their anger is coming down without their knowledge. But that may stay with them only during that time. Right? It may, as soon as they come out of the state of meditation and they start working in the external world, again back to normal. It's like a dog's tail. It'll come back, because they'll be instigated. That Rajasic quality does not go away just by sitting and then just sitting quietly in a quiet place, right? So as you mentioned, right, we have to have that knowledge of Atma Paramatma. Then focus on Atma Paramatma. Then we will be able to truly control ourselves, no matter, even if we come out of that state of meditation, right? Because we understand why should I be running after something, or why should I be angry, why should I be frustrated or fearful, or all these things will go away, take a back seat, because we truly understand who we are. Yeah, so in the previous sloka also Lord Krishna mentioned, right? He said, mat chittaha mat paraha, right? So meditating on me, thinking of me alone as supreme. So when we are doing the meditation, we are our focus is Atma. We are focus is Atma in the sense we want to realize true nature of ourselves, and the one who will give that to us is Paramatma. So we are focused, we are meditating on Paramatma. Why we meditate on Paramatma? Again, it will come in the next focus. Right? So again, we are if we know who we are really, and that's what we want to achieve, that state, right? Then, so with that focus, with that determination, I want to achieve this state of self-realization, I am performing this, practicing this yoga of self-realization, and the means is focusing on Paramatma, thinking of him as the Supreme. He is the one who will give me that state of self-realization. My meditation alone is not giving me state of self-realization. Okay, it's I have a focus. I mean, I have a goal. I have a goal to reach state of self-realization. To reach that goal, I am doing my duty of the meditation, or whatever practice it is. Okay, different practices. That is the activity that I'm doing, because it is prescribed to me. It's not like I'm inventing by myself. It is prescribed to me by Shastras, by the scriptures. So I'm doing it. I'm doing my duty. Who gives the result? Not my activity. It's the Paramatma who is giving me the result. So I'm practicing that state, practicing that yoga, thinking of Paramatma is the Supreme, who will give me the state of self-realization. I want to attain a state equivalent to Paramatma. I want to be eternally happy. I want to, why I want to be eternally happy? Because I'll be able to serve Paramatma continuously without any limitations. That gives me eternal happiness. Okay. So that is my goal, and the means for, who is the one who is going to give me is Paramatma. So I'm going to meditate on Paramatma. So,
sir, if I can ask, I hope I'm not deviating too much from the topic. So if you think of Ravanasura, right? So he's behaving the way he was behaving is because he doesn't have Atma Jnana, even though he was also very bhakti purvak, right? Is it because we can say he's dominating Rajas Gunam, or because a person
Rajasic quality.
also be having Atma Jnanam, right? Or no?
Yeah, Rajasic and Tamasic qualities are driving the. So Kama and Krodha is Ravanasura is an embodiment of Kama. If somebody, if we have to give an example of one who is destroyed by the Kama, is Ravanasura, and Krodha is Duryodhana. So Kama and Krodha are Rajas, they are born out of Rajas, right? So they may have the knowledge. See, the thing is that we may have knowledge. I mean, even all of us, we read Bhagavad Gita, we have a knowledge on, I'm Atma, not body. But
don't put it in.
yeah, but it's like if we have the karmic bondage we are carrying, and we are not determined to achieve the goal of self-realization, realizing ourselves, then we will be running after the desires that are for the body. So desires are external, Atma is internal. So if you are always, if I do not have the determination, resolution to see myself, right, to realize myself, then I will be running after external things. And external things are basically that gives me bodily happiness. So for Ravanasura, it is, he wanted all bodily pleasures, including all the ladies. So, he brought not just Sita, he brought from all over the world. And not only that, a lot of other bodily enjoyments. He's also bhakta also. I mean, he's a in before again without without going into too much into Ramayana. Before seeing Sita in the morning, early morning, he wakes up and does the puja, okay, to God. He worships God. And then what does he do? He goes and, troubles Sita. And he wants to experience Sita for himself and all that. So that's what, I mean, we are praying to God for satisfying our desires. So that is not going to give us, free us from karmic bondage. It is going to give us more karmic bondage. Even though we are praying to Paramatma there, the goal is to, acquire, satisfy our desires. So our desires are increasing, and with that, we are eating karmic bondage. That's what Lord Krishna says, right? Whatever, if you are thinking that this is for you, and you do it, you are eating papam.
And also, Varaprasad, in the later chapters, last time, if you remember, Ushagar, Varaprasad Garu explained, in Dhanam, tapas also, there are three types: Satvik Dhanam, Rajasic Dhanam, Tamasic Dhanam.
Yeah.
So tapas also has three types of tapas. Ravanasara might be doing tapas, but Satvik tapas, Rajasic, and Tamasic tapas.
Yes.
So that is similarly Dhanam. We may be thinking, oh, I'm donating, I'm making Dhanam. But if we don't have this knowledge, we will be doing it exactly the opposite way and acquiring more karmic bondage or papam than punya.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
You know.
So, I mean, if you have a desire, you fulfill by worshiping God, God will give you this. Yeah, I mean, bodily may be satisfied, but that's not going to make us any better, right? Then, so, of course, just because we pray to God, it's not necessary that God will give whatever we pray for. It's not that God is not powerful to do it. It's because of our karmic bondage. We have to experience certain things. We have to go through it, no matter what. So, so that's why Paramatma will not give it to us. Okay. Sloka 28. If we can complete that. Sloka 28. Okay, yeah. Please chant. Evam yunjan sadatmanam.
Evam
Evam
yunjan
yunjan
sadatmanam
Yogi vigata kalmashaha.
yogi vigata kalmashaha
kalmashaha
Sukhena brahma samsparsham.
sukhena
Sukhena
brahma
brahma
samsparsham
samsparsham
Atyantam sukhamasnute.
atyantam
Atyantam
sukhamashnute
sukhamashnute
Let's chant with that. Evam
Evam
Vevam
yunjan
yunjan sadatmanam
sadatmanam
yogi
Yogi
vigata kalmashaha sukhena
Sukhena
brahma
brahma
samsparsham
samsparsham
atyantam
Atyantam
sukhamashnute.
sukhamashnute.
So Lord Krishna is saying, Evam yunjan sadatmanam yogi vedata kalmasha. Some texts will have yunjan evam. Okay. Yeah. So again, we are following the text of Evam Yunjan Sadatman. So not much difference in the meaning. However, this is the correct way of saying, again, according to this particular text. So Evam Yunjan Sadatmanam Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha. So Evam Atmanam Yunjan. Thus, uniting the mind with Atma, right? Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha. Yogi, this yogi. Vigata Kalmashaha, who is free from all sins. Sukhena Ashnute Sada. Sukhena, easily, or with ease. Ashnute, experiences. Sada is always. So, Evam Atmanam Yunjan, uniting with the mind, uniting mind with the self. Yogi, who is freed from all sins, experiences easily, always. What does he experience? Brahma samsparsham atyantam sukham. The limitless, atyantam is limitless, right? Sukham is that bliss. Brahma samsparsham, contact with Brahma. Okay. So they will, this yogi realizes the self. Just a very simple way of saying, the limitless bliss of self-realization. Okay. Sukhena Ashnute Sada is like easily attains or easily enjoys that limitless bliss, that limitless bliss of self-realization. So when in the previous sloka, Lord Krishna said, so when we focus our mind on the self, right, on our Atma, mind is well placed in Atma, then we get freed of our sins, right? Santa Rajasam is then the Rajas will be calmed, will not be running after the desires. And Brahma Bhutam, we realize the essential nature of the self. That, thus, so evam, Atmanam Yunjan, thus uniting with the self, that yogi, Vigata Kalmasha, who is freed from sins, easily experiences the limitless bliss of self-realization always. So Kena is, maybe Lord Krishna wants to tell us that it is not that difficult. Easily, you can easily attain it, is what is saying. You know, we can easily attain that state of limitless bliss.
So Brahma here, he is Atma, sir.
Atma, and immediately Lord Krishna is going to make ourself equivalent to Paramatma. Okay, equivalent, not same. Okay, so we experience the true nature of the self, and that self is equivalent to Paramatma, is Brahma Samsparshan, the contact with Brahma. Like the contact with Brahma is the literal meaning of it, some Brahma Samsparshan, right? So that is experiencing Paramatma as well, because I'm realizing myself. Self is equivalent to Paramatma. So I'm experiencing Paramatma.
So Brahma is Paramatma.
Yeah. Yes. So we will attain that state where we will realize ourselves as equivalent to Paramatma. Again, we don't become God ourselves. We don't think, oh, okay, I became God. No. We're equivalent to Paramatma. Okay, so the next slokas will go deeper into the equality principle. Okay. It's 9:33. Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We conclude with the concluding prayer. Kayena vacha mansendriya buddhyatmana va prakate svabhava karomi yajjat sakalam parasmai
Narayanaayeti samarpayami.
Srimannarayanayeti
Srimannarayanayeti
samarpayami.
samarpayami.
Sarvam Shri Krishna
Krishnaarpanastu.
Om
Om
Asmadgurubhyo
Asmadgurubhyo
Namaha.
Namaha.
Jai Shri
Jai Shri. Thank you so much.
Jai Srimanarayan.
Jai Shri.
Thank you.
Thank you.